Earlier today, President Trump said that his House Speaker Paul Ryan's health care plan would allow folks to choose their own doctor. Is he wrong?
Well, there's probably some improvements in this plan compared to the leaked draft a few weeks ago. But let's just be clear, this plan keeps and expands the Medicaid expansion. This plan keeps some of the Obamacare taxes. And this plan starts a new entitlement. And that's our concern. I mean, did we tell the American people in this last election that we're going to repeal Obamacare, but we're going to keep some of the Obamacare taxes? We're going to repeal Obamacare, but we're going to keep Medicaid expansion and actually extend it for years into the future. And did we tell them we're going to repeal Obamacare, but we're going to start a new entitlement? I don't think any Republican campaign on that. So what we're saying as House Freedom Caucus and Dr. Paul and Senator Lee in the Senate, we're saying, look, let's do something every single Republican voted for. Let's just repeal it, put the same piece of legislation on President Trump's desk that we put on President Obama's desk. Repeal it, and then at the same time, let's have a debate about what the replacement should be, and let's get that done as well.
Congressman, quickly, while the Obamacare law remains deeply unpopular with a large swath of the conservative party, there is polls suggest that Obamacare also remains pretty popular amongst moderates and independents. Are you concerned at all that this is going to jeopardize midterm re-election results in 2018?
I'm concerned about the poll that was that took place on November 8th, where the American people spoke loud and clear and said, get rid of Obamacare.
You are tomorrow, sir, introducing your own plan. How will this differ from House Speaker Paul Ryan's plan?
Our plan is basic. Our plan is the one that's consistent with what we told the American people, because it says repeal it. We have two pieces of legislation: repeal it and replace. Don't marry them, repeal them and replace it. That's what we told the American people we're going to do. So let's repeal it. Every single Republican just 15 months ago, every Republican voted for that repeal measure. So tomorrow, Senator Paul will introduce on the Senate side, I'll introduce on the House side. That's what we need to pass. And then, look, we're divided. Let's have a debate about what replacement should be, but the goal should be real simple. We want to lower premiums. We want to bring back affordable insurance. We want to lower premiums for working class and middle class people who've been hurt so badly by Obamacare. That's our goal. We're not convinced this bill is going to do it. That was introduced by leadership. That's why we think our plan is the one that will accomplish that and is the one consistent with what we told the voters we were going to do.
Congressman, one of the concerns that you've said you have is with these entitlements. One of the concerns that Tea Partiers also have spoken out against, of course, is the so-called Cadillac Tax. What are your thoughts about Speaker Ryan and the Cadillac Tax and his policy proposal, and what would your plan tomorrow do regarding the so-called Cadillac Tax?
Ours gets rid of all taxes. I mean, again, if you're going to get rid of Obamacare, get rid of Obamacare. Get rid of all the regulations, all the mandates, all the taxes. That's what repealing Obamacare is. That's what we told the voters we were going to do. We didn't tell them we were going to keep some taxes and have the Cadillac tax come back and play in the out years, which is what the leadership proposal says. We didn't tell the voters that. So I think we make this job way too complicated. Our job is pretty basic. Do what you told the voters you were going to do when they elected you. Do what they sent us here to do. They did not send us here to keep Obamacare. They sent us here to repeal it.
Is President Trump wrong on this, and what does this mean in terms of how he and his administration, as well as leadership in Congress, were able to negotiate with Congress?
Look, we've spoken with folks in the administration, and they're very clear. This is the start of the debate. This is how the place works. You don't just have some decree that happens from leadership and says this is how it's going to be. That's the intro. Now it's time for debate. When there are 435 members of Congress, there are 100 members of the United States Senate. The American people, more importantly, just saw the plan today. I think they probably want to see a debate. They probably want to see some real discussion about what's best for them. That's how the process works. Through their elected representatives, we have a debate. We figure out what's best, what really works, what's consistent with what we told them, and then we have a bill that we can vote up or down on. That's how it's supposed to work. Everything we've heard from the administration, that process is going to play out. That's the way it should be.
We've got under a minute left, Congressman. I want to ask you, Republicans that I speak with, yourself included, have told me that something needs to be done fixing health care simply because to avert some type of fiscal crisis in the states, and that Obamacare has created such a fiscal mess for many states. I want to ask you, though, what about passing an alternative plan that would cause folks to lose coverage? Is that a concern of yours? Is that a concern for constituents for the Republican Party?
My concern is bringing back affordable health care. That's what we're focused on doing. I mean, right now, Americans have fewer choices and higher costs. And the plan I see out there is subsidizing unaffordable insurance, and that's the dog chasing its tail. That's not the direction. What we want to do is bring back affordable insurance so working class families, middle class families, the people who voted for us in this last election can actually afford it. Right now, people can afford the premium, they can't afford the deductible. That's what Obamacare is has given the families of this great country. We want to change that. We think the only plan that will do that's the one we've introduced, the repeal and the replace, separate legislation that will do just that, and it's the only one, as I've said before, the only one that's consistent with what we told the voters we were going to do when they elected us and gave us the privilege to come here and serve them.